I'm your host from Starlight Starbright Observatory, and today you can hear the little generator running back there. We got all the supplies for the observatory, or probably about 90% of them. The inside won't be finished off quite right away, but here we go. We got the generator running, and I got my saw set up, and I'm going to be taking short videos through this and try and edit them all together so that you can see just how easy it is to build your own observatory. All right, we'll see you in a few minutes. All right, here we are. So we have all our walls done. Hopefully, if my math is right, they're all right. But they're all going to be right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take our chalk line over here, and we are going to chalk out our 12 by 12 area. Once we do that, I'm going to build the roof because I don't have a big driveway anymore like I did at the other house, and I want a really flat surface. So I'm going to build it right on top of the pad right here, and then I'm going to just make it a skeleton, and I'm going to set it to the side, and then I'm going to assemble all my walls and get them anchored in with some concrete anchors, and then we'll take our trusty tractor and we will pick the roof up because it's only me. I got to use the tractor, and we'll stick it on top and clamp it down, and then once we do that, we'll be able to get our trestle set and cement it in, and then we can start on making the roof roll. Be back in a little bit. Okay, as you can see, we've done our chalk line around the perimeter of our foundation. And it's hard to see, but right there, there's a little black check mark. That's at 3 foot. There's another one that's at 4 foot. Now, if you go in between these two, that should equal 5 feet. I check it in 2 corners, and then I know I'm good to go. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put our roof together. We're going to put a skeleton together and set it off to the side. All right, here we are. I'm just going to show you a quick thing of how I do the roof. This is what I did for the last one. So I have my 2x6 right there. I have my 2x8s. They're following the chalk line, so they are exactly where they need to be. I run all my hangers there, and then what I do is I find my agonals with a protractor, and then I put those 2 front ones on, let it rest, come back, and I have this leg in the back here, and I just hold it up until it's level and just drive a screw reel through it, and then put the rest of my legs on. And then I'm going to show you how to put a cross brace from rafter to the other side to keep it from stretching. And this is going to be the strength of your roof, and I'll show you that in a minute. Good morning. All right, we're here on Saturday morning. We hope to get a lot done, and I told you yesterday I was going to show you how to reinforce the open roof. So what we do is we take a 2x4 here, and we notch it so that it sits on either side up on the rafter, and then we pull up on the roof just a little bit to take some of the tension off of it, and then we nail it, and we do that for each one. And when the roof goes to rest, it'll start to pull on all those. Obviously, we don't have it all done yet because we got to try and keep it a little light to get it up on top of the building. But that's how we do it, just like that, and that will keep your roof from moving. It's super strong, and when we get the V-groove wheels on it and the weight of it, that will actually hold it all in place. All right, well, we're going to try and get some walls up. We'll be back soon. All right, it's been a long day, but I figure I'll show everybody a few things. So we have all our walls up. What you'll want to see right here, if you see how I've got this done with 2 studs, and then the wall butts up to that, right here is where your beams are going to pass through, and they'll be bolted along this wall, and they'll hang out like 13 feet out the back, and they are pressure treated. If you see over there, there's all the lumber for it. Now I chose to do 2x6s instead of 4x4s. They're just a lot easier to work with, and then I'll nail gun all them together, and that'll make like a 4x6 basically for your roof to roll on. It's what I did for the last one, and it worked really well. Also, don't forget, after you do your walls, up here you need a cap, and the cap is very important because all the joints, if you have joints, we have joints, really stabilizes the build. And then these are really important. So I just cut a bunch of, because we're 7 feet tall, so I just took the pieces that we cut off of the end, and I put 45s on them, and they are in every corner and by the doors. And basically what that does is that really makes your building stiff, and you need it stiff because remember, it's just a freestanding building. There is no roof for any structural stability. Also, you see here, we've got 3/8 anchors everywhere. We have 15 3/8 anchors all the way around. If you're in a wetter climate, I would suggest your bottom 2x4 be pressure treated. You're probably supposed to have it here, but we don't really get that much rain. And then I'll have this building treated for termites, because you have to. Termites are really bad out here, and it will just stay super nice out here. The doors, got them off of Facebook. Got both of them for $100. We're going to upgrade the doors, but I wanted to get them in here and get going on it, so we're not spending $1 zillion on it. And there's the windows to go in. Other than that, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. Like I said, just remember to put those 45s in all the corners. This will make your building very rigid. Tomorrow we're going to put the windows in, and we're going to start some of these beams. And my wife and daughter are home from vacation, and there's the roof. They are going to help me get this roof up on top of the building with the help of our tractor. So stay tuned, and we will show you what's coming up next. All right, we're back. So we got the roof on. My wife and my daughter helped me with that. Now we just kind of picked it up with the tractor and then slid it on. The tractor didn't quite lift up high enough. When we did the last one was 10 by 10. I literally did it by myself, but the extra 2 feet all the way around really makes it a lot more awkward and a lot harder to get on. That's why I required, you know, my wife and daughter to help. Also, we have one of our starting beams. Now this is a 16-foot 2x6, and there's 2 of them together. You could use one big solid beam. This makes it a little bit easier to work with. Don't worry if they're bowed a little bit, because when you nail them together and you clamp them, also these clamps, these ones right here from Harbor Freight, are invaluable when you're clamping wood together. The trigger ones hold stuff in place, but the other ones you can really tighten all the wood up. And when we clamp those 2 together, they'll be almost perfectly straight and will be really good shape. Right here on the back, you can see that where we have our 2 studs that separate our wall, that's going to act as a beam to hold the roof up. And then in here, we'll have it nailed to the stud wall in here, and then we'll just drywall around that when we get done on the inside. But there it is. It's 13 feet back. The wheels don't go all the way in the back of the roof, so when it comes off, it should be almost 14 feet. This way it's at least 1.5 feet away from the building when it comes out. And that's pretty much it. Just make sure it's super level. We got our level clamped up there, and we're going to go ahead and nail this one up, and then we're going to start on the other side, and then we'll make a square at the end. We'll square it all out, and then we'll plumb bob for our posts, and we'll start digging our holes for our sonotube. We'll be back with some of that in a little bit. Hello everybody. I have been making videos as much as I should have. We've just been really busy trying to get the new house ready for inspection. But we're back out on the observatory the last couple days, and I'm going to show you a few things of what I've done. I'm not going to show you me building everything, but we'll go over some of the stuff and how it's done, and then you can determine from there. You know, nothing's written in stone, and you can do everything kind of how you want it. And I'll show you that here just in a second. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to show you is obviously our roof is open in the front because we don't want it hitting our scope. If your building is tall enough and you have your scope parked, you can get the roof off without hitting the scope. But our walls are 7 feet and Clyde sits pretty tall. And we like to leave this area of the roof open just for in case of emergencies and I'm not watching. So, but what you see right here is because it's open and you don't have like a post and a beam and a kingpin in here, we've ran a cable 3/16 up to both sides right there with the turnbuckle down. And when you tighten those, that pulls the roof together and just gives it a little bit of extra support. Because this roof is 12 by 12, it's got a little bit more area in it, and you need that extra, just that little bit of an extra support. We didn't need it with the 10 by 10 roof. And then also in the back, you can see I have the back connected with a 2 by 8, which is probably overkill. And then we have a nice king stud right there, and that keeps the roof super sturdy. You're definitely going to need that. And then we'll show you how we did the wheels right now. Okay, so here's how we did the wheels. These are just the heavy-duty 2-inch casters. We bought them right off of Amazon. It came in a pack of 8, 4 for each side. I only had 3 on the 10-foot roof, but now we have all 4 on the 12-foot roof. And then you can buy track systems. They're fairly expensive. To keep our costs down, this is basically just 1x1 angle iron, and then a I believe it's a 2-inch by 1/4 inch piece of flat steel. And what we do is we just lay this on here like that, and then we stitch it down. So basically you just get it aligned on one side of the truss like that, and then I'll show you how we get it square. Okay, so to get your angle iron, your track square with the other side, this is important. Basically I had a couple pieces of 1x1 square tubing. Now I welded that together, or if you can buy a piece long enough, and we cut it. That was the exact length on the inside up there from eave to eave, where we wanted our track to sit. So basically you're going to put this in. There's like a little lip there for it to rest on, and you're going to do the same thing on the other side. And then what we do is we put a little stitch weld from the plate to the angle iron, and we're going to do this about every 1.5 feet or so, and we're just going to go right up the line. When you're going to make sure it's square, you're going to put a square on this right here, just to make sure that that this bar is square, because you don't want it tilted, because then you'll get a bad reading. And then what we do is we put these little screws in here. They're just deck screws right there, and basically you can drive with the head of that screw every so often. And these are just laying on here. They don't need to be fastened down. Your roof's going to hold it down. Basically, you'll be amazed at how much you can twist and push this long piece of angle and flat bar. With those screws, you get them down in there at an angle, and when that head hits it, you can push this. You can push the steel over a good 1/4 inch either way to get this really straight. And then just put your little stitch welds. Now I use 10 feet sticks of everything because it was easier to transport. And then you just put a little stitch weld to hold them all together, and that's that. And I'll show you how good it rolls. All right. So an important thing when you have a roof that rolls is you're going to need stops on either end, which we don't have added yet. And then you're going to need locks. Now these are just clamps that we have in place right here to keep it from moving. And I had a bigger set of clamps that were screw type on the other thing. But I think on this observatory, we're gonna actually put like a screw style clamp on there to keep our roof from rolling, and you need to keep it locked down when storms are coming. So there we go. We just undid the locks. Now let's see how easily this roof rolls. There you go. That's way above my head, and I'm hardly pushing it. And that's how it works. It's that easy. You should be able to press that. If you have your wheels aligned right, take some time. You should be able to push your roof back with one finger, and that's a pretty hefty roof. And it should be fairly easy to push and pull once we have the OSB on top and the roofing. Remember, we're doing steel roofing this time, so it's going to be a little bit more, a little bit heavier. Surprising how heavy that is. But if you're doing like a plastic corrugated roof like we had on the last one, it just does make the roof very light. And the key to the roof is to make sure that you don't have any large eaves hanging off any of the sides of it. You don't want anything that the wind can get under to lift this roof off. You want it wind proof. I know the locks hold it, but you still don't want anything to be getting up under there to be able to lift that roof up. This way, if you have like out here, even in the nicest conditions, you can have what like a dust devil and, you know, just a microburst all the time, and you don't want to be able to have that roof get picked up off your building. It'll be a mess. All right, well, we'll be back with some other tips here in just a little while. All right, now let's talk about our trestle. We have 2x6 by 16s. We took 2 of them and mated those together. It's easier to work with. It's easier to manipulate them to like make them straight and bend them how you want them. We have just one across the back, and as you can see, these are doubled and nailed together, and they're pretty straight. And you'll be surprised how straight you can bend them once you get your posts in. Our posts are put in with 8-inch sonotube, and then we have a metal mount that gets put in there, and these are 1/2-inch bolts that we've put through everything. All these are all 1/2-inch bolts that go through. They're pretty cheap. Don't buy them at Home Depot. Go to Tractor Supply or like a Shoppers where you can buy that stuff at the pound. They charge you by the piece at like Home Depot in the hardware store, and it gets too expensive. Just go buy them by the pound. It's much cheaper. And these are just 3/8 lag bolts right here. The top lag bolt is longer. I think they're like a 8-inch lag bolt, and then the bottom one is like a 5-inch lag bolt. Because you don't need to obviously go all the way through. And these are just cut at a 45, one post right there, and that gives you some rigidity. And then just these 2 supports on this side to keep your lateral movement down. It doesn't matter where your sonotubes sit as long as the posts are going to be longer or taller, and then you just cut them off when you're done. That's just the easiest way to do it. This way you don't have to get out here and level your sonotube. You just get it above the ground and cut the tops of the posts off. And then right here we have another 2x6. Unfortunately, we had to use a hanger on one side, and it's bolted to the screwed to the beam on the other side. Because the dirt was so rocky and so hard here, we couldn't get the posts exact. It doesn't really matter. They're like 1 inch or 2 off. So we just put a joist hanger there, and then screwed that down to that beam over there. And what we did was we made sure that that board was identical to what it's coming out at the back of the observatory. And then of course down here you have all these, I'm going to call them like king studs right here. These corners are not moving. There's so many 2x4s nailed together. It is really strong. And then this will keep your trestle at the exact distance you want in the middle, because if not, those posts could bow in or bow out, and you wouldn't want that. And that's pretty much it as far as the trestle. It's super strong. And then eventually here, we are going to put the joists all through here just like this one, and we are going to deck the top of this so that when we're not using the observatory, we can use it as a deck, and it would be amazing maybe for some solar observing. All right, we'll be back with some more tips here soon. Hello, we are back at Starlight Starbright Observatory. I know I haven't been updating this as much as we should, but we've been super busy, as you can see. Back, oh, where's it at? Oh, right there. We've got our new house set down back there, and I've just been super busy doing electric and all other kinds of stuff to get that thing ready. And but we're back on the observatory. Our house is passed. We got electric, and I'm going to show you the pictures and show you where we're at and what we've done, and then you can make your own decisions from there. Okay. So we've pretty much just completed the roof. We haven't done a whole bunch more, other than we've done this, we've done our trestle work here. So what we've done on the roof here is we have our drip edge. I'm not a great carpenter, so please, no critiques, but I know it's not going to leak. It's probably not the right way, but I know it's going to be fine. So we got our metal roof here, and then we have this, we have to put, I put 4-inch eaves on this. As you can see right there, the roof ended, and we put a 4-inch eave, and then we put this 2x8 along the side, and that protects the side from stuff coming into the side. You'll see it's pretty good size eave over top of that, but it's close and it's low. And the T111 is going to slide right up in there, and there's not going to be much of a gap. And that'll be good to keep the dust out. And I don't know what we'll do. Maybe we'll put some rubber in there to seal it later. I know the last one we had a big conveyor belt that I cut up, and we put that in there down the sides of it. But this is going to work good. And there's and you can see there's our roof, and it's pretty easy to put metal roof on. It's pretty straightforward. Just make sure you put your tar paper down before you put your roof down. Remember, you start from the bottom and work your way up so it's layered downwards, so that if water gets in there, it just runs right off. Make sure you got a drip edge. That's important. And then when you do your metal roof, make sure that you, as you can see here, make sure you're off 3/4 to an inch off the side of the roof. Not much more, because you don't want the wind catching it, especially with the roll-off roof. You know, it's so susceptible to wind. Even though this is a pretty hefty roof, you'll be amazed at what a good gust, especially out here in Arizona. One of those little dust devils, man, could rip the roof right off of these things. So you just have to make sure that your eaves are tucked in and as close as possible, but you have to keep the rain out also. Minimal eaves. Minimal eaves. You don't want the wind being able to catch on anything. No soffit under there, nothing like that. That's pretty much it. It's pretty much all we've done since the last time we've talked. I've just been so busy. You know, the trestle's done, and you know, the trestle's pretty easy to do. But we'll come out later and we'll show you how we haven't rolled it off since the roof's been added. Metal roofing, whether you know it or not, weighs a lot. It's not like plastic roofing. The last one we did was like a plastic terracotta roof, and it turned out really, really well, and it's super light. So if you're concerned about weight, and you're not going to have a motorized roof like we are, definitely think about like the plastic polycarbonate roofing. That may be a better option for you. All right, we'll come back out later and we'll see how this thing rolls back and forth. I know it rolls pretty good, and then we'll be back next time with more updates.